Well, good day. So, for today's video, we're gonna talk about Christmas cheer and Christmas violence when Popeye the Sailor Man meets up with Santa Bluto. So, alright, let's go.
Alright, so we start off in Olive Oyl's house, where she and Popeye are wishing Popeye's Popeye's nephews a good night. On this night being Christmas Eve. And these boys have allegedly been pretty good and are now waiting for Santa Claus. So off to bed they go, and off to decorating Popeye and Olive Oyl go. But the jerk known as Bluto shows up at the house. Potentially inebriated, potentially not, but who knows? But what we do know is that he is pretty ticked off that Popeye got to Olive Oyl's house before he did. But realistically, Bluto, what do you expect? It's almost frickin' midnight, and Popeye's there with his nephews, they were probably there for a few hours at least. Gonna guarantee at least since supper time. And you show up last minute, hey? Buy a watch, buddy. Regardless, Bluto spots Popeye's Santa Claus costume, and quickly he comes up with a plan. He'll dress up as Santa Claus and somehow convince Popeye to get the hell out of Olive Oyl's house so he can make the moves on her, yeah! He truly believes in this plan even though he overheard Popeye and Olive Oyl flat out state that, they know Santa Claus isn't real. But, still, this Santa Claus plan has gotta work, right? And surprisingly, it does! The two are super excited to see the real deal Santa. I can give Popeye a pass on this, because Bluto ripped off the chimney and threw it down on top of Popeye's head. So the concussion alone would make him believe in Santa Claus, but Olive Oyl falling for this? Come on! Anywho, so Santa Bluto is trying to get close to Olive Oyl with some mistletoe kisses and stuff like that, to which Olive Oyl is totally eating up. Even though she's there with Popeye and she knows that Santa Claus is a married man. This doesn't seem like proper Santa etiquette, so it just feels a little off. But Popeye keeps interrupting Bluto's advances. Of course, Santa Bluto ain't too thrilled about this, so the game of cat and mouse begins. Bluto tosses Popeye in a sack and then tosses him out of the house. Bluto gets Popeye to set up the electric train set so Popeye can get electrocuted. Holy crap! Which seems like it couldn't get any worse, But it does! Santa Bluto is helping Olive Oyl light the candles on the Christmas tree. But seeing as Popeye wants to help, Santa allows it by getting Popeye to light a stick of dynamite. Dynamite? Holy crap! There's children in the house! Holy jeez, man! This is getting a little out of hand. But the dynamite does indeed explode, and luckily enough, the explosion is localized only upon Popeye, as he is thrusted through the roof and into a nearby lake. In the melee, Bluto's cover is blown with his fake Santa beard burning up, revealing his real Bluto beard. So Olive Oyl is completely disgusted that it's Bluto and she tries to get away from him. So now it's up to Popeye to save the day. He takes back one of the cans of spinach that he was going to gift to his nephews. He slams that thing down and he gives Bluto an uppercut that he won't soon forget. Well, actually, he will forget, with the concussion and all. But Bluto is out cold, seeing sugar plums and fairies, so the day is saved. Hooray! Popeye dons the Santa Claus costume, and that's the point where his nephews wake up. Not with the dynamite exploding or anything, Not with the fighting and the commotion downstairs. No, none of that. Santa Claus is here. Now I'm awake. And also, they see right through Popeye's Santa Claus costume, recognizing him as Uncle Popeye, and not Santa Claus, probably because Santa Claus doesn't have gigantic forearms, I don't know. But either way, it's time for them to open up presents, and to pay no attention to that large man knocked out in the other room. So hooray for Christmas, yay! And with that, that is the end of this
Fantastic's Tale.
So yeah, hey, that wasn't too bad. Classic Popeye, and some classic Christmas in there too. And it's always nice to see the characters just chill out and have fun during the holiday season. Well, for the most part, until Bluto shows up and ruins the whole thing. Bluto claws, hey? Like, how the hell did Popeye and Olive Oyl not see through that disguise? Popeye's nephews didn't fall for Popeye, pretending to be Santa Claus, man. They saw right through that. But the adults in the room, not so much. How could they not know that this wasn't Santa Claus, even with the fact that they don't believe in Santa Claus? And how could they not see it really for what it is? A home invasion with a whole lot of property damage. And, not only the property damage, broken chimney and exploded roof, but all of the physical damage that Popeye endured, at the hands of what he thought was Santa Claus. I guess that would lead to a lot of emotional damage as well, right? It's like that saying, don't meet your heroes, because they wind up being jerks. And Popeye, being a huge fan of Santa Claus, even though he doesn't believe in him, he would take an absolute literal beating for Santa, as we've seen in this cartoon. Right? Like he was tossed out of a window in a burlap sack, he was electrocuted, and he got blown up out of the house. And even after all of that, he was still, I love that Santa Claus guy, what a guy. Until he found out that it wasn't Santa Claus, with the old biff, bam, boom. But at this point, Frankenstein's monster could walk in with a Santa Claus suit and they would still be, Santa, he's here, yay! Unless they were drinking a whole bunch of eggnog and rum beforehand, That would actually explain the whole thing, okay? So it makes sense, yay! But that's pretty much all I have for this Popeye Christmas cartoon here. And I do have some more behind-the-scenes kind of things with Popeye and Christmas decorations and stuff like that going on over here.
So yes, indeed, hey, Popeye Christmas! This featured cartoon is not the first Popeye Christmas cartoon there was. No! That honor would fall upon the short theatrical film called Season's Greetings in 1933. And that one, technically was Christmassy. It took place on Christmas Day after all the gifts were opened, the breakfast was eaten, and the chores were done, and everyone went skating. The thing to do on Christmas Day. So this featured cartoon was indeed the second Popeye Christmas cartoon, and this one was definitely much more Christmassy, with seeing a Santa Claus type character, the Christmas tree, all the decorations and stuff like that, and this one popped up in 1955. There was a third Popeye Christmas cartoon that happened on the Popeye TV series, and the episode was called Spinach Greetings, which debuted in 1961. But for this featured Christmas film, it was pretty frickin' awesome, right? And it did mostly show how Christmas happened back in the day. So we did see Popeye and Olive Oyl lighting candles on the Christmas tree instead of turning on the Christmas lights. Candles on trees, those things definitely happened, and it has been happening for centuries. And the main purpose of candles on the trees was to help illuminate all of the fantastic decorations on the tree itself. But candles on trees, hey? We might need to replace that concept. And so, in 1882, Thomas Edison's buddy, Edward Johnson, did introduce these fancy Christmas electric lights. So hopefully people can use these things instead of having those fire hazards on their tree in forms of candles. Unfortunately, as we know with the debut of any product, the first generation of that product is incredibly expensive, which is exactly what happened with these Christmas lights. And earlier on, there were some electrical problems with them, so you didn't exactly stop a fire hazard, completely yet. But by the time of this cartoon, in the 50s, the price tag for Christmas lights were much more reasonable, and a lot of the electrical problems were sorted out at this point, so the candles on the tree were completely replaced with Christmas lights. And, well, yeah, of course, Christmas lights on the house as well, Also, we did see Popeye setting up an electrical train track. So, not only was this a really popular toy back in the 1950s, and even well after the 1950s, but there was also a tradition of having a Christmas train going around the Christmas tree. No one really knows how or why specifically that became a Christmas tradition, but it did start to become a tradition in the early 1900s. And its little history is actually kind of neat. So there was the Lionel Manufacturing Company, and they made these small battery-operated trains for display purposes only, right? Just to show a mountainside or whatever with the train kind of going around. Or the tracks were also electrical too, right? But either way, man, like people were blown away by these little displays. So much so that these little trains were starting to be produced for consumer retail. And just like that, the model train industry was born. And I guess someone put them underneath the Christmas tree and just watched it go around the trunk, endlessly. And they were like, yup, that's Christmas. And I can totally dig it, Something about trains and Christmas, like I totally love it. Another different Christmas thing that you've seen here was Popeye and Olive Oyl decorating the place up after the kids have went to bed on Christmas Eve. So when you're a kid and you woke up on Christmas Day, you didn't just see Christmas presents under the tree, you seen a brand new tree and the place completely decked out, which is quite the juxtaposition to Christmas nowadays when we put Christmas tree and decorations up on November 12th. Another fantastic thing in this episode was seeing children on Christmas Eve. This one specifically being Popeye's nephews. So Popeye's nephews made their first cartoon appearance in a 1940 cartoon called Women is a Mystery. But that was during a dream sequence that Olive Oyl was having, and those kids were actually her and Popeye's kids. But they were eventually reintroduced as Popeye's nephews in a couple years after. This cartoon is a little odd because there are actually 4 nephews that Popeye has. Their names being Pip-Eye, Peep-Eye, Poop-Eye, oh man, that poor kid, and Pup-Eye. So why there was only 3 out of the 4 nephews shown in this cartoon, I don't know. Maybe the other kid was in juvie? Or spending time at Grandpa's house? Who knows? But still, it's pretty cool to see them pumped up for Christmas, eh? And well, for this cartoon, that's pretty much all I have on that kind of stuff there. Old-time Christmas traditions are pretty awesome. Kids having fun at Christmas is pretty awesome too. And yeah, Popeye's pretty cool too. So yeah, man. With this, that, those, and the other things, I guess that's that. Also, if you're interested, I created my own comic book channel, Sh.215 Comics. And currently, I have created my own cartoon series, The Adventures of the Density. And recently started a radio series featuring my newest character, Elastoma, with more titles to come. So if you want to check it out, I'll leave a link up top here to that channel and some links at the end of the video. Yeah! Right on, and there you go. So thanks for watching the video. I hope you liked it as much as I did making it. Also, feel free to check out the source material that I featured in this video. And if you want to leave a comment on anything you may have liked or things I might have missed in this, feel free to do so. Or anything else, just to say hi. That's cool too. And other than that, have a great day. Thanks.